What's up, everyone? This is FP Sticks bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Premier Cup, in Master League. These are some of my first battles in Premier Cup. They didn't go super well. I think I went 2-3 and 2-3 in both of these sets. Not super great, but the team that I'm rolling with today is Garchomp, Metagross, and Magnezone. So double steel line with Metagross in the lead. This team makes sense, right? Because Metagross's worst lead that it could see would be a TogeKiss, and so Garchomp's worst lead that it could see would be a TogeKiss, and so Metagross and Magnezone can handle TogeKiss just fine. So two Pokemon in the back that are supporting my lead Pokemon of Garchomp. My Garchomp is running Sand Tomb and Outrage. Metagross is running the typical moveset of Meteor Mash and Earthquake, and my Magnezone is running Wild Charge and Flash Cannon, actually. And Flash Cannon as a closing moveset on Magnezone definitely comes in pretty clutch here. So let's kind of take a look at these battles and see how this goes here. Again, I've just been on a losing streak still for like the past little over a week now. Points are still going down. I'm just struggling to try to make it to rank 10. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do my absolute best to get there, but we will see what happens and just try to have fun with it along the way. So my Magnezone is stuck against this Snorlax right now. I'm over farming as much energy as possible. I have 2 Wild Charges built up right now. Get the first shield, and then I'm going to throw the second Wild Charge. This should be just enough to KO the Snorlax. It is. Out comes the TogeKiss again. I switch into my Garchomp to clear my defense drop, and then I'm barely going to be able to get to this Wild Charge here, and this should be enough to take out the TogeKiss. Very, very close game. Good game there. I think honestly my rating range is around like 25-40 right now. Again, like it's still going down, but okay, really bad lead. I actually saw a lot of TogeKiss leads this morning, which are really tough for my team to deal with. Out comes Garchomp. I know that this is just a straight Sand Tomb, but honestly Garchomp can just go straight Sand Tomb in the one shield and beat Metagross. So there's really no point in building up to the amount of energy that an Earthquake would be, because you kind of want that defense fall as quickly as possible. And I was able to get a shield out of this Garchomp, but I felt like it wasn't worth it to shield right there. Maybe it was, because then I would have been in a 0 shield scenario. No matter what, I'm going to have to shield my own Garchomp. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to farm this thing down. They bait me with a Sand Tomb. Amazing play on their part. I'm just going straight Outrage, though. I wasn't anticipating them shielding this, but they do. And this is actually really scary for me. I'm going to shield this, and it is an Outrage. Thank goodness. They just wanted to get my shields down. And then they're able to get a last-second Sand Tomb chip damage here. So I'm going to overfarm just a little bit more. One more Mud Shot, and then throw the Outrage. This is for sure going to take out the Garchomp. I need to immediately switch to clear these debuffs. Out comes the TogeKiss, and there is a Machamp in the back. Unfortunate for me. This Wild Charge is not going to be enough to KO. And so they stacked their team perfectly as a counter to mine. TogeKiss lead, and then they had 2 anti-steals in the back. My opponent's team would be very, very weak to a TogeKiss in the back. Machamp and Garchomp are pretty much walled by TogeKiss, but they luckily had the perfect team comp to hard counter me. Good game. Garchomp mirror match. I obviously have to take this thing out right here, because Metagross and Magnezone are really going to struggle against this Garchomp. They bait me with Sand Tomb, really unfortunate. And I also lost CMP because I think theirs is a best buddy. It is a best buddy, so you can see their CP is higher than mine. I do have 100% Garchomp here. They double shield, or they double bait me with Sand Tomb. Really, really bad scenario for me right now. They do shield that up at least, but I know I'm going to lose the CMP tie there, so I just go into my Metagross. They're probably going to double Sand Tomb me and then maybe leave, because they are in Meteor Mash range. This is another Sand Tomb for sure. They might even be able to get to another Sand Tomb before I can get to Meteor Mash. Yeah, I think they're going to be able to. Absolutely insane. This Garchomp is just wiping out my entire team. because it's winning CMP against my lead and they were successfully baiting me the whole time. So I'm going to bring out my Garchomp now, anticipating that they were out of energy, so I farm up a couple more mud shots. This Outrage should be able to take it out, and I'm hoping that whatever's in the back is weak to Garchomp. It's a Snorlax. Probably should have just switched into my Magnezone immediately. I don't know. This is going to be tough. I do an Outrage, and then I kind of want the Snorlax to throw some energy here. But they overfarmed enough that I'm not going to be able to outpace it with my Magnezone. I am going to be hit by a superpower, which is really bad. It's going to do a lot of damage to Magnezone. In the back is Metagross. I am going to be able to double Wild Charge this, because one is not enough. But unfortunately, then the Snorlax... Oh, actually, I lost CMP there. This is going to allow me to farm up a little bit more with Garchomp, but it's just not going to be enough. I have 2 Sand Tombs built up, but Sand Tomb is not going to be enough to threaten that Snorlax. So I should have just thrown the double Wild Charge immediately, but then I knew that Snorlax was going to come out and farm down, so it's kind of a tough scenario to be in. I encounter a Machamp lead, which my entire back line needs to avoid. Gonna go for the Sand Tomb bait here. And they call my bait. Really smart play on their part. I will shield this up. It's just a cross chop. But I need to get this Machamp out of here. I know this is going to be another cross chop. I can tank one of these. I'm going to try to bait again with Sand Tomb. I might just go straight Sand Tomb here. And then this is going to offer me some farm down potential with my Metagross. So I'm going to throw another Sand Tomb. They don't shield it, and then I'm going to switch into my Metagross to farm it down. Unfortunately, they do have Gyarados to meet my Metagross, which is a pretty solid response to Metagross, but when I have an energy advantage like this, it just takes 2 Meteor Mashes to KO Gyarados. I'm not going to commit any shields here, and I want Magnezone to be able to farm this down. I'm anticipating that there could be like a TogeKiss or a Dragonite in the back. That makes the most sense. However, if it is a Dragonite in the back, this team would be crazy weak to TogeKiss. So it's probably another Steel type, honestly, because they led Machamp and then they have Gyarados, 2 things that are really going to struggle against the TogeKiss lead. So, okay, it is a Metagross in the back. That makes the most sense. I'm not going to be able to get to 2 Wild Charges before this thing gets to an Earthquake. I don't think. So I switch into Garchomp, force them to throw energy. This Sand Tomb is going to be able to take them out, though. Good game. Oh, not good game yet. I mean, it's pretty much a good game. I'm going to be able to spark down this Gyarados after getting hit by a crunch there. I think Magnezone is insanely powerful. Insanely powerful in Premier. Garchomp into Metagross. This is a really good lead. Out comes Machamp. We know that I don't have a response to this Machamp, which is very unfortunate. I shield up this first cross chop. Then I'm going to bait with Sand Tomb, hopefully trying to convince my opponent to commit a shield. They no shield the bait. And I feel like every time I throw Outrage, it gets shielded. And then when I bait and it fails, it's like the worst feeling ever. Going to throw another Sand Tomb here. I really want to shield before I can switch in. Okay, now I can switch into Metagross comfortably and farm this down. Probably going to get hit by 2 cross chops, but I can tank that. I know that they still have Metagross and it actually comes out right now. They wanted to avoid being farmed down and they saved the Machamp in the back, which is actually really bad because my Magnezone is probably going to get stuck against it. I could have... Oh, I do no shield here and it is just a Meteor Mash, but as you will see, it doesn't even matter that I called their bait because I get farmed down and now I'm just in like the worst possible scenario here. I bring out Garchomp. I'm able to get to the Sand Tomb. But this is pretty rough. I have to let Garchomp go, unfortunately, and then bring out my own Magnezone, but I have to farm this down and it's not going to happen. It's a Rhyperior in the back, so they ran double anti-steal. Very interesting team. Double anti-steal, man. And I ran double steal. Very unfortunate for me. But as you will see, the Flash Cannon is going to do a lot of damage to the Rhyperior, but it's not enough. I'm over farming as much as I possibly can, but I know that Machamp is going to come out and be able to get to a Cross Chop. Machamp is just a little bit too quick. It actually doesn't matter. I'm able to get to this Wild Charge, but then the Metagross is going to be able to take me out. Good game. Rough battles for sure. Garchomp into Excadrill. Okay, this is another good lead for me, but my entire back line just gets hard walled by that. Out comes Milotic, which is pretty interesting. I have not run into one of these yet. It is a Waterfall Milotic, so now I'm going to switch into Magnezone and attempt to farm this all the way. Oh my gosh. You guys ready to see me back out? Are you guys ready for it? Because I totally throw the game here. I should have shielded this. I thought I could barely survive, and I don't. I give up switch, and now, as you will see, I'm gonna bring out my Garchomp here. What did they have for it? The hardest counter in the world, TogeKiss. And so I totally threw this game just by not maintaining alignment. Got way too greedy with my Magnezone. Very unfortunate. We have another Garchomp mirror match here. I'm looking at the CP and my CP is higher, so I'm assuming I should win CMP, but it looks like they also have a 15 attack, so it is randomized. I call the Sand Tomb bait, which is pretty huge. I'm gonna bait with my own Sand Tomb. They call the Sand Tomb bait. Very unfortunate. This is it's just such a mind game, these mirror matches, because the Outrage is essentially gonna one-shot. I do get the shield there. I'm going to no shield this Sand Tomb. We're up in shields. I know this is another Sand Tomb. There's no way that this is an Outrage. So I'm going to let this go through and just take the shield advantage. This Outrage will KO if they let this through. If they double shield this, I'm in a world of hurt. Okay, they let it go down. A Mamoswine. This is not super great. Luckily, Metagross is going to be hitting Mamoswine for super effective damage with the Bullet Punch. But I do need to shield up a potential Bulldoze. Just going to farm as much as I can. And now I'm going to throw. I do get the shield. They're trying to burn my last shield here. If this is a Bulldoze, it would feel really bad if it went unshielded. So I do shield that up. Really good for me. In the back is Metagross, going to farm up just a little bit more. Throw the Earthquake. This should be just enough to KO. And if it's not, I'm going to farm down with... Okay, it is just enough. Out comes the Mamoswine. I'm able to Bullet Punch it down. Very good game there. Garchomp into Mamoswine, really bad, and honestly my team doesn't have a response to this in the lead. Mamoswine is definitely kind of a hard wall to this line. Mamoswine is still just so glassy, but it is an interesting pick for sure. Powder Snow now does a little bit more damage, which is great. And I do get a shield with that Outrage, but this is very unfortunate. I'm going to get farmed all the way down. I, by some miracle, get both shields. And then if there's a Bulldoze, it's really going to hurt, but I know I can survive it. But I do shield it up. I need to get rid of this Mamoswine, and it's a Machamp in the back, so this is pretty much over. And I can survive this Cross Chop. I want to overfarm just a little bit more, and then Meteor Mash should KO this Machamp. Gonna throw it right here. This should be just enough to KO. They have their own Metagross in the back. I need to throw this Earthquake. I overfarm a good amount there, which is good for me. But now this is really bad. I just immediately switch into my Magnezone here. I'm not going to be able to get to a Flash Cannon, and I know that. So I'm just going to throw the Wild Charge here, but then my opponent is very calm and collected, builds up to enough energy to throw 2 Avalanches, and so then it's a good game there. But I had to get some chip damage, and as you can see, barely not enough. Really smart play by my opponent to build up all that energy. Good game. Garchomp into TogeKiss, worst possible lead. So we're going to safe swap the Metagross. And out comes Garchomp. So we bait out the Steel counter. Again, this matchup is not too bad for Metagross, especially with a shield advantage. You can see I already got a shield there. I'm anticipating this just being a Sand Tomb, and it is. Now, if I were to commit a shield right here, I would kind of force out their last shield, but then they're still going to be able to farm me down, and I'd prefer that I have 2 shields to their 1 instead of my 1 shield to their 2. So I'm anticipating this being an outrage. I will shield this up. Thank goodness. Gonna overfarm just a little bit. Now I'm gonna throw the outrage. I don't anticipate them shielding this. I know the TogeKiss is gonna come back out, and I just hope that they don't have another steel counter. They have Metagross. This is still kind of a rough battle though, because Wild Charge is just like barely not enough damage to KO this Metagross. And I know this is gonna be a bait, but I have to shield it, unfortunately. And then I have back-to-back Wild Charges again, which is good. And Magnezone should win, but it's still not even enough to take it out. And once again, I got too greedy. I barely survive. Lost track of my opponent's energy there, and now I'm going to be taken out because Garchomp can't do anything against TogeKiss. Good game. Should have just immediately thrown the Wild Charge again, and then I could have switched out, or I probably still could have maybe barely gotten to a Wild Charge. It would have been pretty tough. So I'm able to switch lock this Gyarados, which is really good. I'm actually just going to shield it once and then farm it all the way down and leave with 100 energy. And it leaves my Magnezone with lower health to be farmed. So I'm overcapped on 100 energy for sure. I'm anticipating the Magnezone to come back out. It does. Gonna just throw straight Wild Charge here. They let the first one go unshielded. I'm building up a little bit more. If I can get 3 Wild Charges off, this is pretty huge. I get 1 shield there, and I'm able to get to this Wild Charge, which is really great. But I know I'm going to be farmed down, and I am scared that they could have Flash Cannon, which is really going to hurt my Garchomp. But honestly, I should not shield my Garchomp. They Mirror Shot to take me out to save some energy. Out comes Dragonite, and this is going to be a win purely based on team comp for me. I just had all the right counters there. I burned their last shield, and then I'm going to be able to bring out Metagross and throw the Meteor Mash. Still trying a bunch of different team comps to see what might work in Premier League. Let me know what teams have been working for you guys and what rating range you are in, because I really need to figure out a team. I might just play some Open Masters because I know those matchups a little bit better. But thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.